Lexington Bluegrass Fire and Public Safety Team have the unique challenge of maintaining a safe environment in a strongly satisfaction-driven industry. They must prepare for the everyday challenges as well as the potential for things that we hope will never happen. Robert Hutchins is a sergeant with Airport Public Safety and speaks on the training involved in his job.
Currently, this year in 2016, we've kind of had a reinvigorated effort to conduct more physical hands-on training that kind of stretches our limits. So we've kind of really gone back to the basics and challenging things instead of having just classroom kind of continuing education, but to actually get more of the physical hands-on continuing education so that people can have a chance to utilize the skills that a lot of times in these types of environments, unfortunately, have to be placed on a shelf because they don't always have the opportunity to use those, which is a good thing. But by the same token, you know, when you need to use a pencil to write with one, you want it to be sharp. So the only way to do that is to try to enhance your training and have a very hands-on approach. And as I say, in 2016, here at Bluegrass Airport, we have made an upgraded effort in all three disciplines, police, fire, and EMS, to bring in more outside instructors and to basically conduct in more hands-on training.
The airport also faces the challenges of a combined influence and demands from local, state, and federal agencies. But Sergeant Hutchins notes that Bluegrass Airport has established strong working relationships with all involved.
Having those checks and balances, certainly there's FAA guidelines and regulations that are in place, and then there's the TSA component as well. And so they're testing us, we're kind of testing them, looking for and assessing how well, if it's in regard to security in particular, how well the security is being met. Certainly we have guidelines that we've written that the FAA has approved of a security plan of how we're basically going to operate. Then of course they send people to check, test, and inspect and see if we're kind of basically meeting the plan that we've set forth that meets the federal guidelines.
Public safety at Bluegrass Airport includes medical, police, and fire duties. The fire side of the department is very interesting in that a significant incident is incredibly rare, but when they do happen, they can be catastrophic with dozens of lives at risk. Carl Faulkner is the training coordinator for the Lexington Bluegrass Airport, and he talks about some of the challenges in airport fire preparedness.
Airport firefighting is a little bit different as we have a faster response time to the aircraft. We have to be at the aircraft within 3 minutes of the time we get the alarm. We go by mass application of the extinguishing agents out of these trucks. We carry a large amount of water with us, so we hope to get a quick knockdown on the fire. Plane crashes are, like you said, they are very rare, and they are very different because you're dealing with a mass casualty incident, whether it be 4 people on board or 180 people on board, you know, 130 on an MB-80. So you're walking into a situation that it is life-changing.
As you can imagine, there are several obstacles that firefighting and safety must overcome when it comes to aviation. 2 of these challenges are getting water to a scene where there are no fire hydrants, and the airplanes may be carrying thousands of gallons of highly flammable fuel.
The FAA requires the airports to have so much water available and foam available to take care of the largest aircraft landing, which is 126 feet for our aircraft, our airport. So 126 feet is going to be the MB-80 or aircraft that size, regional jet, and that size of airplane. There's not a road or a fire hydrant either. That's why we have to carry a large amount of water with us. They're designed for the off-road capabilities for the ditches and whatever challenge you'd have getting to the aircraft. Which I can only remember one crash on the runway. Here we've had several that lost their gear and collapsed, but our major incidents have been off the runways. We carry 3,000 gallons of water with us on 2 trucks, 1,500 gallons of water on the other truck, plus they all have foam on them, foam firefighting.
With these challenges, time is definitely of the essence. In order to get thousands of pounds of fuel, passengers, and baggage in the air, airplanes must be built of lightweight yet strong materials. Unlike many homes and buildings that can resist fire for an extended amount of time, airplane fuselage provides only a few minutes of protection from flames. That's why the firefighters must respond quickly, and their tools are designed for a quick attack.
There's 3 minutes is what their estimated time for a burn through the skin of the aircraft is 3 minutes. And it's up to the aircraft crew to get the people off the aircraft. These trucks are designed for one-man operation, so when we are fighting fire, we're doing it from inside the truck right here.
Thankfully, significant incidents in aviation are incredibly rare. In fact, it is consistently the safest mode of travel. So how do you stay prepared and train for something that you hope will never happen?
We work a 24, 48-hour shift. During that 24 hours, we do training 2 hours a day. We have subjects that the FAA requires us to cover: airport familiarization, aircraft familiarization, putting out fires with these trucks. They'll come to one of these. They'll come down here to the training center at least once a year to practice their skills.
Going inside the airplane is quite creepy. It's dark, and the thought of it being filled with flames quickly sets in.
So what you're going to notice here is that the shot's going to be pretty low. That's because the heat's going to roll up over the top. And then so we're actually going to have to end up being on the floor to get this shot because the heat's going to be so high coming across the ceiling. You'll see what I mean.
They put me through a couple of scenarios with fire in the cabin and then also fire in the cockpit. We sit there quietly when the area bursts into flames. We had to stay close to the floor because the buildup of heat is almost instantaneous with the cooler air down low. They then demonstrated how they would attack the fire. I can imagine that a similar situation in a real aircraft would be a scene of chaos. Carl and his team will often simulate this by filling the plane with dummies, luggage, and obstacles. One of the firefighters told me that their full annual course is incredibly intense and some of the hardest challenges he has faced.
As you can see, it gets really hot really fast. In fact, I think the temperature jumped up probably 50, 60 degrees while I was in there. It got so hot and humid that the camera started fogging up. It gets pretty uncomfortable really fast. So mad props to these dudes for what they're doing, getting in there and willing to fight these things. So as they come down, we're going to start preparing to get the wing and the wheels here. So what it'd be like if the plane went down and the engine was on fire, the wing was on fire, that's where all the fuel is. And also the wheels and brakes does have a lot of heat. It'd be a good place for a fire to start, difficult place to put out. So they're going to show us now how they do it.
The wings and the engine are probably the highest possible risk with intense heat, moving parts, and thousands of pounds of highly flammable jet fuel. The key for the response team is to control and extinguish the fire, but more importantly, preventing the fuel in the wings from becoming involved.
They're called to protect the exposure. That's where all the fuel is going to be located, in the wing or underneath the body of the fuselage. So what they do is they'll fight the fire, and then they'll cool the wing, fight the fire, cool the wing. That way, you got that 3-minute burn-through time on the skin of the aircraft to try to prevent that fuel from the wing from rupturing and spilling all the fuel.
So we've started some fires, we put out some fires. Now, nothing left to do but clean up the mess. What we do have now is a lot of respect for the men here at the Lexington Bluegrass Airport Fire Department for the work they do, being ready to help protect us as we go our different ways and travel. They're there every single day, ready to respond in their time of need. I'm Dr. Ryan Stanton, and this is some StantonMD.
The men and women of Bluegrass Airport, as well as surrounding communities, train hard to be ready for incidents that may take place at the airport. It is through this training that they will be ready in the time of need. More StantonMD coming up.